Cervicides, condyloma, as somebody was asking, I didn't explain it fully. Carcinoma of cervix, leiomyomas, hyperplasias, and carcinoma of the endometrium. So, this is inflammatory infiltrate plus the dysplasia. This is chronic cervicides. So, in cervicides, what you will find? This is the inflammation of the cervix. You will find the inflammatory cells, one, and the dysplastic cells. Why dysplastic cells? In inflammation, why you will find dysplastic cells? Anybody? Why dysplasia in inflammation? All the inflammatory, lesions are associated with dysplasia or not? Anybody? Not all of them. Okay, why? You ask the teacher why, and the teacher asks you back, then it is good. Now I explain why. All the inflammatory lesions may not be associated with dysplasia, only the long-standing cases. And one is only the inflammatory dysplasia, inflammatory. That is not the malignant one. It means the cells are responding to the inflammation. Because of the inflammation, there are some changes in the cells. Okay, this is not malignancy. But here, if the dysplasia appears in cervix, this is a dangerous sign. It means there was HPV infection, and this HPV infection has caused dysplastic changes. And HPV can cause the carcinoma also. So here, if you find dysplasia, you have to be careful. You have to keep patient in track. So this is histology, and this is the cytology. Cytology only. This is histology. So this is the squamous epithelium. Okay. Look, below the squamous epithelium, this is the inflammation. Small black, and these are the dysplastic cells. Look here, these cells are losing their original shapes. The nuclei, they are becoming more dangerous, hyperchromatic. There is change in the shape, change in the size. If you remember, go back to see the normal cervical epithelium, squamous. So there is a difference, isn't it? There is a difference. But I cannot keep every time the normal thing. So you have to just recall in your mind. So these are the dysplastic changes, especially in the lower portion of the squamous epithelium. And this is the inflammatory infiltrate. And when you will see, these big cells are the cervical cells. Okay, the superficial cervical cells. Somewhat these bigger cells, these bluish, these are intermediate. Yeah? Look, you have the superficial, you have the intermediate, you have the basal cells in the squamous epithelium. And these, what are these? Now, dysplasia will occur where? In these cells itself. So some of these cells, when you see this cell, okay, this cell, which are having more cytoplasmic ANC ratio, these are the dysplastic. This is a fragment of the cervical cells. This fragment. These are all cervical cells. Some are losing their shapes. They are undergoing changes. So these are the dysplastic cells mostly. Some of the cells are normal. This is a normal cell, normal squamous cell. See, these are normal cells, small nuclei inside. But these are dysplastic. Now, what are these? Anybody? Say if you think what it is. Very common cell. Yeah, these are the inflammatory cells. Look, these are the nuclei, multiple lobes. These are neutrophils. These are all neutrophils, and some of them may be, this lymphocyte. These are neutrophils. Mostly here you will find the neutrophils. So inflammatory cells, along with dysplastic cells, along with few normal cells. These are the findings in chronic cervix. So this smear has been taken from the cervix, and we see it under the microscope. This surrounding is fluid. So this is a normal cell. This is a normal cell. These are normal cells, big cells, polygonal. But these cells here, they are undergoing changes. So these cells are dysplastic cells, all these cells. And these are the inflammatory cells. So you will find inflammatory cells 1, normal cervical cells 2, and dysplastic cells 3. These are the findings. in the chronic cervicides. This is condyloma acuminata of the cervix. Okay, so it can arise in the cervix also. Because we are talking about the HPV infection of the cervix, so we will not talk about the anal canal or anus area or other area. So in the cervix itself. So this, when you see it, you can think that maybe it is like, cancer also. But this is, when you will see it under the microscope, only you will. So red, pink to pink brown elevated papillae and rugose. So these are, if I see it as a pathologist, I may think that this is a cancer. So when I cut the pieces, I will see it under the microscope, what I will find. So I will find this. There is chirocytosis, okay? Chirocytosis is there. What does the word chirocytosis? This is a cervical cell, okay, which is infected by the HPV. So there is hyperchromasia of the nucleus with angulation, with perinuclear vacuolation. This is the vacuolation. Here, vacuole, clear space, produced by the cytopathic effect of HPV. So it destroys the cytoplasm, okay? There is proliferation of the HPV organisms and destroys the cytoplasm. Ultimately, what will happen? This cell will burst to release the particles of HPV. When the HPV divides, so there is a capacity to which the cell can expand. Ultimately, it will burst and the particles will be released. So these are few normal cells which are surrounding here, okay? And these are the coilocytic changes in the cell itself. Hyperchromatic nucleus surrounded by halo, okay, which is due to the cytopathic effect of the HPV. So this is the condyloma. These are the changes in the condyloma. This is a benign lesion, not malignant. Caused due to which HPV? 6 and 11, very good. And high risk HPV are 16 and 18, very good. 16 and 18 are the high risk. They will cause cancers. So if a question comes, condylomas are caused by which HPV? 6 and 11. Cancers caused by high risk. So it can come, like this. The question can be like this, or it can be like this. I can hold your ear like this, or like this. So, but you have to understand. If you have understood the thing, you can write. If you have not understood, even if it is like this, you will not be able to appreciate it, isn't it? So the second thing is, this is condylomas, benign lesions caused by low risk HPV, carcinoma of the cervix. Here, this is ulcerated portion, very small carcinoma, but here, fungating, so big. Normally it should be up to this only. Here, this portion is very small, but here it is growing, and this is a very big carcinoma, big, fungating, and here infiltrating, going into the wall itself. There are some carcinomas which go into the lumen. They may be polypoidal in shape or fungating, okay, cauliflower-like. There are some which go into the wall, and there are some which ulcerate. So 3 types of cross examinations you will find, mostly polypoidal, infiltrating, and ulcerating. But not all are like this, but mostly they are like this. And as I told you, I didn't check it out, it is not 95%. Because these are the labs which have been made previously by the Qasim people. We do not change these labs, sincerely speaking. Because if I change, then everybody has to change. The labs are good, but maybe some of the figures, I don't agree with this one. This is cervical. Cervical, 75% of the cases are squamous cell. So 95, we should omit here. 95. Inshallah, next year I will omit it. So these are the squamous cell carcinomas. Which type it is? Well differentiated or poorly differentiated? Can you say this is squamous cell? These are squamous cells. What are the qualities of the squamous cells?
Nucleus and the cell.
This is not the quality of squamous cell.
Cell and it has nucleus. It's why you can't really explain.
Remember one thing. When you will see a tissue, what does the word poorly differentiated means? It will not resemble the squamous cells. Then you have to study the markers. Okay? And if it resembles the normal squamous cell epithelium, you say this is well. If you see the skin, there is a cut section and you see below the squamous epithelium, it appears exactly like this. Exactly. Because some of the tissue, if it is cut, it comes below the dermis because of the cutting. So it is exactly like this, and in the center you will see the keratin formation. Like at the top of the squamous epithelium there is keratin, isn't it? So it resembles. These are squamous pearls. These are squamous pearls. So this is a collection of squamous cell. In the center there is squamous pearl. This is a keratin formation in the center. When a squamous cell carcinoma forms the keratin, this is the quality of a well differentiated tissue. So this is well differentiated squamous cell carcinoma. When you will find keratin in the center of the squamous cells, this is well differentiated. No doubts about it. So almost every cluster of squamous cell here, every group of cell is forming keratin. Isn't it? This is the keratin in the center. This is keratin. This is keratin. This is keratin. Surrounded by the squamous cells. So these are clusters or groups of squamous cells which form keratin. Look, keratin. Again, like onion. So this is squamous cell carcinoma. Next time, if I will ask you well differentiated, poorly differentiated, I will kill you if you don't answer. So this was first. This is how it happens. Chronic cervicides by HPV, then maybe leading to condylomas, which are benign lesions, maybe leading to cervical cell cancers, which are malignant lesions. This completes the cervix. Then comes the leiomyomas of the uterus. So leiomyomas are, most of the times, they are benign, almost all the times, and they are multiple, many. Look, how many leiomyomas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe some more are also there. So many. You can find hundreds sometimes. Small. If I cut, go on, give you multiple cuts, I will find small leiomyomas. So multiple, they are mostly multiple, and sometimes because of pregnancy they can undergo red degeneration. So they are grey-white in color if you cut them. So they undergo red degeneration. This is because of the hormonal changes which are occurring. Because of the hormonal effect, they undergo red degeneration, they become red in color. And what you will find, bundles of smooth muscle cells which are running. Basically these are smooth muscle cell tumors, isn't it? So this is the normal part of the uterus and this is the leiomyoma. So bundles of cells, smooth muscle cells which are elongated, have the elongated nuclei, they are running through. So this is leiomyoma. Leiomyosarcoma. Protruding from the myometrium into the endometrial cavity. So this is the leiomyosarcoma. What you will find here, these are the malignant characteristics. So this is the malignant one, okay? Very large, bizarre cells along with the spindle cells. Some of the cells may be spindle cells, sometimes you will find large cells. A couple of mitotic figures appear at the left and the lower end. What is this? What?
Previous lecture you said about Howard structure, onion-like structures.
Onion-like structures only in the leiomyoma. World appearance, burning. That is called world appearance.
So interlacing and Howard
Yeah, it can be good. It can be interlacing bundles, it can be world appearance also. So these are very large and bizarre cells. Look at the cells. Now look back, go back, just for appreciation. This is low power. But the cells are benign looking, isn't it? They are benign. Do they give a dangerous look here? No. But when you come here, the look is dangerous, isn't it? The look is dangerous. Even a common man will tell you, oh, this is a benign thing, you know. This is not dangerous. But this seems to be dangerous. Something is wrong. So this, sometimes you can. So these cells, they are variable in size and shape. Some of the nuclei angulated. They are not rounded, perfectly rounded or cigar shaped. There is quite variation. Some are very small, these, and some are very big. Even some are so big that the many nuclei, they have fused with each other and formed a multinucleated tumor giant cell. So this is the multinucleated, look, shown by the arrow, big, containing many nuclei. So this is multinucleated tumor giant cell, and you can find mitosis here. This is a mitosis. I don't have this one slide of this leiomyosarcoma, otherwise I would have shown you the mitosis. But inshallah, if sometime it is possible, I find some carcinoma with many, mitosis, I will fix it for you. So this is composed of bizarre cells, multinucleated giant cells, and there is mitosis. How many mitoses you need for leiomyosarcoma to diagnose it? 10 per 10 high power field. Good. This is important, that's why I'm asking. So endometrial hyperplasia. So we finished the smooth muscle tumors, leiomyoma and leiomyosarcoma, and this is the endometrial hyperplasia. The first slide. Normally it should be smooth. No, from above, finger-like projections, fronts, like just like papillary fronts, they are coming down. If you see it, again, it's a sort of a dangerous look. You can think over it, what is it? Maybe something wrong is there. But you have to see it under the microscope to confirm. So this is, changes in hyperplastic appearance. They also give you the appearance as if carcinoma is there. Big swellings, going down. So what you will find basically, there are many types. To make it simple, we classify it to simple, complex and complex atypical. Simple hyperplasia, what you will find? You will find dilated glands like this. The glands are dilated, okay? They may be filled with some material or secretions, like here. So mostly you will find dilated glands, mostly with atrophic epithelium. Atrophic. The epithelium has undergone atrophy. So dilated atrophic glands you will find in simple hyperplasia. Okay? Especially if it occurs in the older age, there will be atrophy of the endometrium. Simple hyperplasia, dilated glands with atrophy may be filled with secretions also. Complex. Here the glands will not be dilated. So the glands are very close to each other and show increased activity. Look, the glands big, separated. Here glands are close. They are not cystically dilated. Mostly they are not dilated. So these are maybe filled with secretions, and there is more hyperplasia. So the number of layers may be increased, but without atypical features. But in complex atypical, you have the number of layers in the glands increased, but with atypical features. So atypical features again, hyperchromatism may be there, and C ratio may be increased. These are the atypical features. So it can be simple, which is not dangerous. It can be complex, typical, which is also not that dangerous. But if it is complex atypical, chances of going into the carcinoma are very high. This is how it proceeds. I said metaplasia can lead to dysplasia, can lead to carcinoma. Same way, the hyperplasias can also lead to carcinoma, especially the atypical hyperplasias. The word atypical is important. Atypical means something wrong is going on there. So here you can see these glands, hair glands, some proliferation of the cells, but not looking that dangerous. But here, glands are completely filled with cells, and there are more dark nuclei. So this is how you differentiate. Simple, giving a good look, okay, becoming bad. So this will be followed by the, what you will do if a patient comes to you with this. What you will do? Start.
Will transfer to genital medicine.
Very good. He will transfer her to internal medicine
All right, good.
or oncology. But if I ask you what you want to do, ultimately she will be transferred.
Yeah.
But what is it in your mind? Why you want to transfer her?
Save it from carcinoma.
To save her from carcinoma. How you will save it?
Get the whole of it.
I am seeing you from last 10 minutes, and in front of you are openings. Bad? Is it bad or good? I am asking both of you. Is it bad or good? One word. Good or bad? Very good. Very good. It's bad, it is very good. You know, you may be having big muscles, but I am not afraid. Simple, I am not afraid. I will tell you one my story, then we will carry on each other. We were playing. I am not used to fighting. I am not that sort of a guy who will fight with the others. One day what happened? We were fighting, we were playing in the street. Just like children play, but I was not that child, I was in maybe 15 years of age. But I used to tell, if somebody wants to fight with me, I used to tell him, no, I don't fight. He was not my friend, neighbor. So, like, not neighbor exactly, like I live in Faisalia, he lives nearby. So, he also came. So, I used to avoid him. But he was like, I was this much, he was this. Really? He was almost 7 feet tall. So, when he used to come, but he used to, he tried to fight with me. I say him, I am not that sort of a guy, I don't fight, I want to play. One day he came, and what he did? He just got hold of my testicles with the hand in front of everyone. What will happen now? And he pressed them so hard, I lost consciousness. You know that vagal stimulation?
Yeah.
I fell to the ground, and I am like, nobody is coming near. Because he was very strong, very big. You know what happened? When he left the hand, I just got up. I gave him 3-4 punches this area. This is the basis area. Punches directly. 4 punches, he fell down and he didn't, went up, and I was running. No, the police will come to me. And the people who came back to me, because I was also, they told me that he lost consciousness for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So don't take me lightly. I am telling you. Just joking. So sometimes these things can be dangerous. Testicles are very sensitive. A person can die. A person can die simply. Vagal stimulation, what it will cause? It can stop the heart. It can stop. Heart is stopped, blood supply to the heart will be stopped. Blood supply to the brain will be stopped, the person will die. Same, these areas are very sensitive abdomen. When the police beats a person, they avoid these areas. This area and this area. Why? The reason is this. They beat on these. So you should know these things also. In a way, these are important for a doctor. You can save the life of a patient, and sometimes if you are in deep trouble, you can kill a person also. Isn't it? Especially the females should know this. Self-protection. Even she doesn't know anything. If she knows this, she can protect herself. Really, in a country like India, especially not in our areas, Kashmir is quite safe from that aspect. But every now and then in Delhi, these things are happening, rapes and other things. So if the females know these things, rapist, okay, kill him on spot.
They are gang, I guess. So
That is, yeah. So we make it. This is also. Unfortunately, these things are happening in this is the temperature of India. And this is very unfortunate. It was going to be called as a diabetic capital. No, it is being called as a rape capital. Because the foreigners are being very. I don't want to go to Delhi. Believe me. Only I go when I travel. Because we have to go to Delhi. Last time I made a ticket from Bombay. I said I don't want to go to that place. When I go to that place, I don't move out of the. If I am with family, we stay at the hotel, good hotel, we won't move out. So much, terrified the people are. But this is bad. These things should not happen. Unfortunately, happening so. These are hyperplasias. The more chances of complex atypical hyperplasia going into the cancers. Then the next thing is here, cancer. So irregular mass. So this, the cavity, abdominal cavity is filled with irregular mass. Filled with irregular mass. Or white tumor are seen over the surface of this uterus that has been opened and given. So this is basically the uterus which has been opened. It has been opened and it is filled with the mass. So this is the endometrial carcinoma. This lady, after how much time she will be coming here? How much the carcinoma has grown? Isn't it? So very late stages. So what you will find here? Which type of carcinoma? Well differentiated or poorly differentiated? Huh?
Well differentiated.
Why? You see below. You see the glands. So here, if you see the glands, it is well differentiated. If you see only cells, it is poorly. If you see both the cells, solid cells, solid masses of cells, and also the glands, it is moderately differentiated. Okay. So here you see mostly the glands. So you say this is well differentiated adenocarcinoma. So glandular architecture is preserved. It is preserved. That is why we call it well differentiated. Tissue is confluent without intervening stroma, which is usually carcinoma from. So what is the difference between the hyperplasia and the carcinoma? Here the glands are there, but in between the glands are back to back without stroma. So intervening, you will not find any stroma. No stroma is there. They are back to back like this. In hyperplasia, this is how we differentiate. In hyperplasia, there is some stroma in between the glands. If we go back, we will see. So here, you find the stroma in between the glands. Huh? So in between the glands, you will find some stroma. But in carcinoma, in between the glands, many glands you will not find the stroma. So this is called back-to-back arrangement. So this finishes, the last is fibrocystic and other changes of the breast. Fibrocystic changes. There is fibrosis, there is cyst formation. So these are the cysts, big cysts, okay. This is also cyst, one big cyst, one, and other areas are fibrosed. And sometimes these cysts may be present, which contain which are bluish in color. We call them as blue dome cyst, okay. So these are all features of the fibrocystic disease. What you will find like this, exactly this type of slide is with us. So you will find these changes. Cystic dilatation of the breast tissue. Cystic dilatation. Second, fibrosis. So this area, these area in between, they are fibrous area. So fibrosis is there, cystic dilatation, these big cystic dilatations. Apocrine metaplasia. Apocrine metaplasia is a feature in some of the cystically dilated glands. You will find these. The normal cuboidal epithelium or columnar epithelium becomes bigger. The cells become bigger. They acquire more cytoplasm, more eosinophilic cytoplasm, like this. So these are apocrine cells. We call them as apocrine cells. These are normally present in the apocrine glands, but this is a metaplastic change. So breast epithelium changes into undergoes metaplasia and forms the apocrine cells. So this is apocrine metaplasia. This is also a feature of this. Then minimal epithelial hyperplasia, 2 to 4 cells may be present. Okay. So sometimes minimal epithelial hyperplasia you can find in this. fibrocystic change, fibroadenoma again. This one, okay? So well circumscribed, they are smooth, rounded in appearance. Which type it is? Which type of fibroadenoma? Two types are there. Which type? This is pericanalicular or intracanalicular? This is the intracanalicular because the stromal proliferation is too much and it compresses and distorts the glands. They become irregular, slit-shaped or star-shaped. In the pericanalicular, the ducts are open, like this one. It is somewhat open. So they are rounded, open. So this is the intracanalicular type of fibroadenoma. Some question. What is the age at which fibroadenomas are seen? At which age? Less than 30 years of age. Okay. What is a giant fibroadenoma? No? Anybody? Giant fibroadenoma? Giant. What does the word giant means? Big. So it's a big fibroadenoma. It occurs somewhat in the, sometimes in the younger females at a very young age. Giant fibroadenoma, big fibroadenomas. Is there any chance of fibroadenoma going into the cancers? Musa, you will tell me how much is the chance tomorrow, inshallah. Huh? So these are the fibroadenomas, carcinoma of the breast. You see, it is not well circumscribed, okay, not well encapsulated, and you know, this is the cancer and it is growing up, going here, going up also, in the streak line. So it is infiltrating the normal breast tissue. So it has been cut, this breast has been cut, and grayish white infiltrative spider-shaped mass, and it is hard because of the desmoplasia, more fibrous tissue. Invasive ductal carcinoma, no special type. Okay, it is also known as Skidler's carcinoma. So you see here, sheets, cords, and nests of malignant ductal epithelial cells which infiltrate the dense fibrous stroma, which is infiltrated in turn by lymphocytes, and the malignant shows features of malignancy. Can you see the clusters of cells, cords, and sheets? These are these clusters. Glands are very few. So we can say this is somewhat going towards the poorly differentiated. If you find almost equal quantities of glands and equal quantities of solid sheets, you can say this is moderate. If you predominantly find only glands, you say well. This is how. So here it seems to be somewhat poorly differentiated, or we have to see the other parts also. This is only one view. So if we see the other parts, maybe they contain more glands. Sometimes only one view shows this thing, other views are well differentiated. So sometimes you have to put it under the well differentiated also. So like this. So these cord sheets of cells run throughout, containing dense stroma, and it is infiltrated by lymphocytes also. These are small, these are dense stroma. It contains small lymphocytes, inflammatory cells. Inflammatory cells can be present in a cancer. How? Inflammatory cells in a cancer.
There is a resistance from the structure, the cells, which release mediated inflammatory.
You know, cancer cells are bad cells. They can release many things, isn't it? So they can release something which can attract the inflammation towards the side. This is one of the reasons. Sometimes the blood vessels can be broken, isn't it? So some of the blood cells can also go in. So most probable is the cytokine expression from the cancer cells, which will attract the inflammatory cells. Then invasive lobular carcinoma. And also one more thing, body also wants to fight the cancer. How it will fight? Through the inflammatory cells, through the lymphocytes and other inflammatory cells, through the natural killer cells. isn't it? Cytotoxic cells. So they will come and try to control the tumor. So invasive lobular carcinoma, as I told you, it is composed of smaller cells. These cells may be looking bigger, but they are smaller. This is high power field. Low power and high power. This is high power. So this is more magnification. So these cells run in, Indian file. This is Indian file pattern. Indian file pattern. Small uniform round or oval nuclei, diffusing infiltrating the stroma, single file pattern or the Indian file pattern. What is the other pattern seen in lobular carcinoma? Bullseye pattern. What does it mean?
Degeneration furious.
No. Musa? Bullseye pattern, what does it mean? Bullseye pattern. There is an uninvolved duct in the center. It is surrounded by the lobular carcinoma cells. So this is bullseye. Okay? So you have the Indian file pattern and the bullseye pattern. Sometimes I repeat these things just that when you hear it again and again, you remember. It's not moving, I cannot do it. So you can come with me, so we will show you the slides and we will take that data here. I will try to finish it as early as possible. You can come to the lab, I will first deliver these videos.